All right, everybody, thank you for your patience. And we are live now. Very good. I have to say, full disclosure, Zoom's a pain in the ass. I appreciate your patience. Every week is an adventure, but every week, pretty much, we get it. Hey, that's really weird how your camera is. It looks like the bookshelf is our divider. It's fine. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm AI.
Ah, no, but that lamp reminds me of, oh my gosh, what's that kid's movie with the blanket and the lamp and the Jack Nicholson played the air conditioner?
I
Did you ever watch that one with your kids?
have no idea what you're on.
It's a great movie. And oh, somebody who's watching this, even if it's later, what's the name of that movie? My kids would all know. We all watched it. And Jack Nicholson was the air conditioner and he yelled at them and he blew air and he was like, get it. I don't know. And then there was a vacuum. Oh, snap. And they traveled and they were looking for the kid that lived there. No?
I don't know what generation or country you're from, but I
Mm.
know I've
Oh,
in
I'm
all of my
proud to be
six
Canadian.
all of my 60 years, I've never known Jack Nicholson as an air conditioner.
What? Oh my gosh, I'm looking it up now.
I know
Maybe
you will.
maybe it was one of your other 50 siblings.
So the thing I was thinking of, so before we went live, sorry for being a couple minutes late, people. It's just me and Michelle have to both shift gears, and then Zoom and everything's technical issues are happening all the time. But anyways, if you're live with us, thank you. Say hi, Michelle. We weren't being overtly morbid, but we were talking about. Michelle was saying like when it's her time to go, she's got books for people. Just to how is that what you said? Books?
Yeah, that's before we came on.
I know, but I'm just sneaking it
Oh,
in because you didn't let me say what I'm doing. When
what
I
are you
go,
doing?
they have to get out of an escape room. If they want any money, Ethan wants my car. If they want anything, they have to go. I'm creating a funeral home escape room,
Oh
haunted house
my
slash.
gosh. Brave Little Toaster. Woo! It's the movie. Highly recommend. You never seen it?
No,
What? You can't live to an adult and not see Brave Little Toaster. It's a classic.
no
That's my
idea.
challenge. Watch the Brave Little Toaster, Tom.
Did you see the Donut Man?
Donut
Huh?
Man.
See,
Donut Man. Yeah, down the street every
Fat
Saturday.
Fat Freddy's cat.
Freddy's cat. No, Michelle's cat.
Fat Freddy's cat. No,
No, no.
Fabulous Freak Brothers.
Are you just
No,
making stuff up?
no. I'm gonna send it to you. This is like all. This is all my seven in the '70s. It was an adult Cheech and Chong cartoon series,
I was I
comic
was
book.
born in 68. I was just upright. I was so shit in my
You weren't even
pants.
upright. They tied you to a board.
You guys probably did. That's probably
Okay. No bringing up. Okay.
ah,
Here's a question.
here's our safe space.
Top,
I'm sorry.
top, medium, or bottom? Where did
Depends
we
what we're
keep
talking.
you? Where did
Oh,
we?
ah. Yeah, in the middle drawer. Absolutely.
Why? Who was in the top?
Because nobody. I thought I was the only one that got a drawer. I
But you
don't
had
know.
you had your own like condo. It was
I
awesome.
know. That's what I mean. I was a princess. I deserved my own womb.
And you had your own drawer.
Yeah, right. I was getting the heck out of there. It was like, let me crawl to the door.
Yeah. Anyways, Michelle and I joke about our early existence. We don't have many memories, but
You make them up.
we remember saying things like Michelle was in the drawer, which is true. But do
Just
you have like you were too young? How did you have a memory of that?
no, our mother told me.
Whose mother? Yours? No.
Our Tammy's.
Yeah, Tammy's mother
Hey,
told her.
Wendy's stepmom.
Yeah, the mother, the
Yeah.
mother formerly known as Prince. No.
Dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun.
But
No,
no,
she told me that when I met her. She
isn't it
said that.
isn't it funny? So reminiscing a little bit. Um, you know what I find, and I don't make a big deal, but depends who I'm with. Like if I'm with mom or if I'm with like
Sure.
uncles and aunts, I'll have like vivid, I'll have certain memories that are vivid and
Yep.
certain memories I don't have a picture, but I know it happened. Like I don't know how our brain fully works. Like I probably look up things, but so there's things that I know that happened, and then there's things that I have actual memories of happened, and they could be in the same age thing, right?
Right.
But so it's interesting because there was things I would go. I'll use for an example. When I turned 3, I was in a car accident. I wasn't driving. So so when I was 3, it was on my birthday in October. I were in Ottawa, and for all of my life, I thought my biological father Tom was driving, and he was a drinker. And we are in Ottawa, and we hit an off ramp just over the river, right? So, and I went through the no seatbelts, went through the hood, landed on the hood, covered in blood. I think I had like 150
Went through
stitches
the
in my head.
windshield, you mean?
I went through. What did I say?
The hood
No, I went through the windshield, landed on the
on the
hood.
hood. There
The
we go.
river was just at the other end of the hood because he hit the guardrail. And anyways, all of my life, well, except for the last couple of years, in my brain file, not in a bad
No,
reason,
no.
I thought, Tom was driving. And mom told me a few years ago, she goes, no, 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 it was Uncle so and so. So
Sticks in your head, right?
it's so interesting. It's like it's like when I work with, there's one, I think one guy I work with, I don't work with him now because he's passed away, unfortunately, but Portuguese guys I work with. And his wrestling life from Toronto actually was his mom, Portuguese family, whatever, and he had an addiction issue and he overdosed. But he couldn't get past his mom saying, "You will amount to nothing. You're good for nothing.
It
Good for
sticks.
nothing." Childhood, but it's interesting the reason thing like our thoughts and how it works, but how he believed that lie
That's right.
for his whole life. Just
Yeah.
believed it.
Yeah.
So nothing to do with nothing, but I'm gonna do escape room.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've seen some interesting things. And I think it's so important. Like I wouldn't mind a tree, be like with my ashes in the bottom growing out of there. I've seen some interesting things, and I think, if you truly want to be happy with whatever those indecisions are, you really need to make them yourself, right? And just and then, I mean, if you want to add some humor, you certainly can, or whatever. But I think, yeah, because at the end of the day, if you never discuss it, even the basic things, buried or cremated, but
Yeah,
right, or or being with a certain person, that's who do you want to be with, your
I
parent and
love
your
that.
children, or right?
When I go, I want it to be cremated, and I want my ashes to go with Bono from U2.
See, put it in
Should be
there.
okay with that, right?
Anything's
Yeah.
possible.
It's
That's
funny. There's
everything.
some great. There's a movie. I wish I can remember. It's a comedy, but this older, richer guy dies, and he's got like 6. I think he's got like 4 children, and they're all posh and attitude and different things, and they all want his brother and sister, and they want his inheritance. So he does this thing. I remember this from years ago. I thought I'm just doing that. And he has this thing where they're there, they're doing reading of the will in a private room and stuff, and so all of a sudden the video comes on of him. So the lawyer or whoever plays it, and
Yeah.
he's like, I know you greedy buggers were here, but
Oh, love it. I've seen that. Yeah.
yeah. And then there was the Eddie Murphy one too, where he
Oh,
inherited, I can't remember what it's called, right? Anyways, I have worked on, now I don't know if I might need, counseling for this, but I've done it and I don't have it now. We do something different. But one of the things that I wanted to do is have a video ready for when I go,
I agree.
and just to, like, because you do the celebration of life thing, but just to go, I don't want to cough, and honestly, I don't want to earn. I don't want my ashes to go with anybody.
I agree.
Leave them in the oven for the next person.
right? Or
and then
do
sweep them.
something or give them back to
No.
the earth.
So whoever is important for them to have a keepsake, understand it. Our
Yep.
sister Tammy does that with her, has a necklace with her Asha's best friend, but I can't do it. Like, so for me, it's like, you know what? I'm gone. You know, if you saw me take my last breath, great. If not, that's okay. But it would be, I think, because that those, I don't go to a lot of those, thankfully, but you end up being thankful, right? So you end
Yeah.
up reminiscing about stuff. And so yeah, so I've done one a while ago, but I got to redo it. And then I've updated, like, I don't have lots of stuff, but I mean, excuse me, I'm fortunate I've got like a home, so I have home insurance, and then I have life insurance through my work, and then personal life insurance, right? And so I've adjusted those because Ethan turning 18 and stuff.
Hmm.
And but
You
yeah,
can keep me in there. Keep me in there as your
I don't
favorite.
see who goes first.
Well, I got a pair of glasses for you right here. That's what I'm leaving you. Look at.
I want those.
I
Mail those to
know
me.
they're so cute, and I'm like, where the hell these come from? I have no idea if they're from Barbie, maybe Ken, but I found I'm been cleaning my desk. It was, 5-year anniversary, time to do it, whether I was ready or not. And I was like, these are the coolest little glasses. I'm gonna leave them right here, Tom,
Love it.
and I'm gonna will those to you.
Love
Those are
it.
yours. And you have all those characters. Somebody is going to fit those glasses. I should just mail them to you,
Yeah.
actually.
I'll
Right?
send a picture. I'll take you. I'll take so up my top. I've got half my guys down and whatever, right?
Yeah,
But I have
you're
these
really.
little Lego Star Trek guys, and I'll send you a picture for those that are joining us. And Anne Marie's on.
Oh,
Welcome to our life and our world. This is better than the Kardashians and any of those shows.
I don't even know who they
But
are.
so I have a new candle. I can't remember what scent it is.
Oh,
And so I have these Lego Star Trek, like Spock and all that. So Spock's hand is holding onto the lip of it's a glass candle holder with candle inside, and he looks like he's levitating.
oh, neat.
Yeah. So I have a box full of my little figurines, and then we have a place out here. I don't think you have it there. It's a place called Toy Traders. And next time I go, I'm gonna take some pictures for you. So this guy who owns it, I think it's an independent. He has over $1 million easily, probably a couple $1 million of props from movies, like all over.
Oh,
Then
cool.
he has all the games and all what are those things with a head, like the big head thing, pop, pop dolls?
Bobblehead. The bobbleheads
It's
that
not a
pop.
bobblehead. It's like it's every famous figure musician, but it's this big head with a little body thing. I'll show
And
you a
then,
picture.
right.
Yeah,
I don't
I think my grandkids. And so, anyways, I go into this place once it's in Langley, so it's far enough away. And I'm always looking for these little figurines to put on my mantle.
Good. Good.
So my 37 other pieces will have
Yeah. If you
new friends.
if you ever see a Lego Professor Xavier, is that it? Professor Xavier? He's in the
Oh, from
wheelchair.
yeah,
Professor,
yeah.
if you ever see that, can you buy that for me and I'll pay you for it and ship it to me? Robert's been looking for that for Xavier for years. And Xavier's really big into Lego. He's turning 13 in a month.
Okay.
But we went to the like a Sarnia Comic Con and the girl had it, but she didn't have it with her. And we've never got that. So if you ever happen, and that goes to anybody, it's the little Xavier in Professor Xavier from the X-Men in the wheelchair. That's what we're looking for. That kid would lose his crap if he actually got that. And I don't mind paying for it, but not 4 digits.
So I don't know if you can see this here. Let me get rid of the light. No, you can't see it, right? Too bright?
Oh, too bright.
Oh, wait, maybe you just do this. Okay. Anyways, they're called pop figures.
Oh, okay.
So it's got a big head. So let me look up here. How do you spell Xavier? Sorry, people. We're on a
Yeah, we're
we're
getting a
on
little sidetracked here. Well,
a
I
X.
think it's, yeah, Xavier. Now, whether that's the way the professor does it, I'm not sure.
I'm going to look for it because it's got things like Dana Scully from X-Files. It's got like
Ooh,
anything and everything. I have some.
I need to
Anyways,
come visit and you can take me there,
oh my word, bring money.
right?
Yeah. But
Oh,
anyways, yeah,
oh,
it's childhood. It's funny
so
going
important.
back. It's funny, yeah, and it's funny to simple things. Lego's expensive now. Actually, my
It's
my
so crazy.
my granddaughter got from my daughter's ex-boyfriend. He got her I don't know what Lego set it was. I think it was the Harry Potter house or something.
Oh yeah.
$6,800.
I know. And they don't just have, remember you would buy, because my kids were all the boys, very big into Lego. Now Xavier is, but with the boys, I could get them the big blue Lego full of Lego. I could buy them the separate platforms and the windows, and they could be creative. Now it's all in kits. And even with Alice, the 1 year, because Xavier's so into the Lego, I got her like the Barbie place. It's something more girly. And even that was like 55 bucks. And these kids, they put them together in like 17 minutes. And they're like, now what'd you get me? And I'm like, nothing. Because I spent like it's so crazy. And one of the big issues with that is that they're not being creative themselves. Like when we used to have the bag of Lego, then you'd wing it. I would make a tree or a school or whatever. My brothers would make cars or knock the school down. But that's like the way that it worked. It was like, you learned. And that's where some of the greatest architects came from learning that, this knocks down or whatever that looks like. Like there's so many lessons in there they skip. Just like with games, whoever they are, they say when you watch games, like when the kids are growing up watching games all the time, it takes away their problem solving skills because they always get presented options. Like there's all left, right, center, you know what I mean? Up, down, but there's always options
Yeah.
instead of getting a pile of little bricks dropped on your lap and now you create, right? I used to do murder mystery dinner theaters, and also used to host like minute to win it games. And
Right.
I got hired to do a Christmas party for a real estate group. So there are all these realtors. So what I did is, so we did, it was a murder mystery, but I do minute to win it games in between, like for points. So
Right.
I gave them one of their challenges was I found a whole bunch of popsicle sticks at the Dollar Tree, excuse me, and they had like little wedges on each end or
Yeah.
spot where you could interconnect them. So I gave them all a couple piles of them and I made them make a house to sell. It was the great we and then they had to do their promo. It was so good. So like they're like, well, we made a 3 level split, no roof because roofs aren't needed, but it was just so funny as a team to
Yeah.
make them be creative. Like it'll be interesting to see what our grandchildren are like as functioning adults when they skip so much. Just like phonics. Like they
Yeah.
don't take phonics like we did. It's so different now. It'll just
And
be
I
interesting.
think, well, and here's the thing, right? This is the good and bad, right? Evolution, right?
Yep.
Evolution, like even ourselves, like we're going to talk about not stressing, how what that,
Yeah.
what are different, how do we do it, why do we stress, all that stuff, right? Or we'll talk a little bit about it. And but part of it is the world's always changing, right? And so like one of the things that was important for Teresa was cursory writing. I have
Yeah.
horrible writing. I'm left-handed, so whatever. I like when at my age, you you were encouraged to write with your right hand because people don't write with their left hand, right? I know I'm a few years older than you, but I don't really even write. I write my signature, but I kind of print like not very good, right?
I go back and forth. I do
Yeah,
half and half all the time.
yeah. Emily has great writing skills. So does Ethan, right? But we live in a world where, like I was saying, Tracy, you don't need the good and bad of it. You don't need cursory. People
They're
are
bringing it
typing.
back though.
What's that?
They're bringing it back.
I don't think so. They
Some of
can
the schools
try.
here there.
Yeah, it'll depend. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll depend. Is there a tariff on it? Ah, joking. Ha 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 ha.
Well, I think I'll actually, my books I have that my kids don't know about unless they watch
Have
this.
you showed it on here yet?
No,
Okay.
like the books for the kids. No,
Oh
uh,
no.
but I should write them in cursive
Yeah.
just to make it interesting.
So speaking of creativity, so first of all, being creative is an incredible way. If you're having a stressful day, like those things, they have those stress balls, which are good. It's a distraction, everything, right?
Yeah,
But part of what you're saying, which is good, is finding creative ways because we're all creative, and it could be different,
absolutely.
and it could be from tie dyeing a shirt to painting the 16 like Michelangelo, right?
Sure.
And everything in between. And not it's
Perfect.
not doesn't matter what the world thinks, but it's actually the practice of doing it right.
Exactly.
I'm writing. I did this. Oh, this is one of the new things for February, by the way. Is I want to write. I don't. I think I'd call it. It's not a haiku, but probably a form of poetry. I'm sure there's a certain
Ooh,
name, but I don't care, right? But I've done this before, like years and years ago, where I would write. I'm trying to get across a point, but I'm trying not to be writing paragraphs to explain it. I'll send you something. I'll send you
okay.
something that I wrote, right? And it could be so here, do this. So this give me a topic that I can write, I could do a poem about or something about.
Okay. Collecting rocks.
Um, rocks. I was gonna do one on found, but I'll do rocks. I'll do both.
Okay. Found
Well,
rocks.
no, found as in being found.
Oh, I
Finding
was
yourself.
found.
I know, that's why I said it.
See, you can say I'm starting from experience.
Yeah.
I found all these siblings.
See, now you're writing a book and a story. I'm using less words. I'm trying to use less words so I talk less.
Oh, good
Hard
luck.
to believe, right? But
Very
but I'll share something here because I get these. So, anyways, part of doing is creativity,
right.
and creativity doesn't have to be more, right? But it's interesting what you were saying. I was thinking of stuff when we brought this up the other day about talking about this. I was thinking like people that like get out of your norm. Like not that norm has to be totally bad, but if all your experiences in life is the same, you know, work day, good and bad stress of work day, making a face at a dog or a cat
That's
or owl,
it's
whoever
Kevin.
you
It's Kevin again. He wants to be on the show. Kevin, get out of here.
um
Alec is on
and
fire.
then
So
like
it
we
works.
get so sucked into routine, right?
Yes.
What'd you do to
If
him?
I say
Set
Alec
him on
is on
fire?
fire, he takes off.
Oh, love it. Love it. But so what it is you like it's so easy. Routine's good. So let me say that. But it's so easy to not getting routine. Like what you were sharing earlier, all of a sudden your routine is changed. And now it's like your joke. Go ahead.
No, you're so right. And you know what's
Your
funny about that is that um my routine has changed, but I'm still getting up at the same time. I'm still staying on that routine. And even though I'm not over there at that computer, I'm here on this computer doing other things so that
yeah.
I keep my momentum going because
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. And so part of it is bridging. So it's like music. I'll send you have you heard of a guy named Jelly Roll?
Yeah, I sent you his video.
Oh, I sent you his video.
I sent you his video like months
My,
ago.
my daughter loves him. So, anyways, I saw this thing, and it was on Instagram, it was a reel, and it was this guy that a country guy. I can't remember who it is, tattooed guy. I sent it to my daughter. She goes, "Oh, I know that guy, right?"
Everybody
And
knows
he's
him.
what's
Yeah,
that?
Everybody knows Jelly Roll.
Well, this is not Jelly Roll, it's another guy. Now Jelly Roll
Oh,
just did a song with him, but here, so talking about creativity, right? Storytelling, sharing, like talking through your pain and all this stuff, right?
sure.
So this guy's song, and it's kind of rock country. I'll find it and send it to you.
Yeah,
But
please
he just
do.
he just talks about it, it's not anti-religion, but it's just he talks about his growing up and how, we all go through crap, and it's just normal part of life, but not like, I don't know. I'll send you the song. You'll probably love it, but it's so good. So my daughter and my granddaughter, 13, she goes, like they always go. Emma goes, Dad, or Izzy goes, Papa, like, can you learn that song? And I love it, right? And I I will, not that I'll do it well, by the way, but yeah, this creativity of even. Have you gone to things like museums and things like that?
Like in my life?
Do you like museums?
Yeah, I've been to museum.
Yeah, maybe this life, not your parallel life. Have you ever been to a museum?
We did that for school. I went to public school and we did that. But
50
I've been,
years ago. Okay, yes.
yeah, as an adult though, yeah, me and Al went, a bunch of years ago, we went to the museum in Toronto. There was the Royal Canadian something, ROF,
Hockey Hall of Fame.
something. No, no, he would like that a lot. But Al's really into all that stuff, like history, and he's very knowledgeable, much more than I. So yeah, that's his sort
See,
of thing.
and see in it. So again, it's easy if someone goes, "Oh, they get super excited." Oh, music or art or history, whatever, right? But one of the things I think, just my opinion, is, and I know there's money involved and all this stuff, but it's finding out, and I'm going to ask you a question that refers to this, but getting out of your box. So part of, like, I wish I would have traveled when I was younger more. And when I was younger, like when I was a mid-late teen, I hitchhiked across Canada and the United States by myself.
Mm.
And so that was experience. Back then it was safe. Wouldn't do it now. I'm too old, right? But that was great. But so I remember the first time taking a Greyhound bus from Ontario through the mountains to BC, and I'm holding on, thinking that, like, we're gonna fall off the cliff, right? The
Yeah.
first time you drove across Canada, so here's the question. So the first time you and Nicole drove across Canada, how was it? We talked about this a bit, but how was it when you started seeing the Rockies from Alberta and then going through the Rockies?
Not scary. I feel like I can't even explain it. I have some sort of connection to water and to mountains. And as we were driving through the mountains, everything I had in me wanted me to pull over and just zen out right there. But we are on a
Love
mission
it.
with a task. But no, it was so exciting. And
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many, and I know it's not the same videos that I've watched of, because I watch a lot of like adventure videos with couples or singles or whatever, and I've watched a bunch. Same thing, or even like in Alaska. I stay out of the states, but Alaska is also in the states. I realize that, but like that whole, just amazing. Oh, I love it so much.
Did you watch a Canadian show called Departures?
I did. I
Yeah.
talked to Teresa about it all the time.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Teresa and
Yeah,
Emily, when she was younger, went and met him. Yeah, I still got the DVD somewhere in one of my drawers here. I don't have a well, no, I do have a Blu-ray player, right?
I actually looked that up on YouTube not long ago. They're all
Yeah.
on there.
And that one's great. Another one, like, I, because we love food, Anthony Bourdain and
Yeah.
No Reservations, and these people that, so sorry, is going back to the getting out of your bubble, right? Because sometimes get up certain before their coffee or brush teeth, after wash of whatever routine. It's all a routine, right? Every Wednesday is a routine.
Yeah.
There's probably some good, there's good in that, but all of a sudden to do something different. So I think I said this before, Teresa, her need and want before she gets too old, is travel. So she's actually going with it's a woman who's used to be her boss. She's retired now. She's going to Iceland.
Oh,
And I
awesome.
send her these Iceland reels. I told her this, and
Yeah.
every reel I've sent her, she goes, "Oh, we're going to see that. Oh, yeah." And so for me, so would you've not been a traveler your life. Did you go to England?
I did when I was 4.
You don't remember?
I do. I remember puking on the plane. I remember seeing castles. And I remember just a couple. So my cousins, we stayed with my cousins, and they're obviously all English. And I went to, so I was 4, and I really went to meet all my new family over there. And I learned Itsy Bitsy Spider in a British daycare or nursery school or whatever. So for whatever reason, I remember that too. Probably because they all talked weird. Like, although my parents, right to death, still had their accents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's for me. Like I know this is my life, but seeing parts of the world, like I have a book on my bookshelf that's 100 years old. Right, not too bad. In England, that's like having something from 2022.
I know.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember in England going to these bizarre markets, whatever, and they'd have all these trinkets on the desk, and
Yeah.
you'd see things like a pocket watch from the 1800s, and they're going like, oh, for like, you know, £2, whatever it be, right?
Yeah.
And so seeing castles and all that, we went the year before we went to England, we went to Greece,
Neat.
and we went to see the Acropolis. And so seeing these things, I was talking, actually, sidebar, me and Teresa on Saturday had a pedicure because somebody bought us pedicure. We had our feet done. And the
How'd you
woman
like
and the
it?
daughter, what's that?
How'd you like it?
Have you had a pedicure?
No, it doesn't interest me.
You don't want some stranger rubbing your
I
feet,
don't even let Al rub my feet. That's
flipping
not
your
a
toenails?
thing. Yeah, no, it's not for me.
Does he put a little uniform on?
No, no.
Um,
TMI.
anyways, the daughter the daughter and mother were Egyptian. So we're actually talking a little bit because you're there for like half an hour, 5 minutes. And we were saying when we were talking about being in Greece, and the mom goes, "Oh, like Greece is like it's like a 20-minute, 30-minute flight over the
Yeah,
Mediterranean Sea, right?"
yeah,
And so she was from Cairo, right? And I said, "Yeah, like a while ago, we didn't have time, and it was like so Canadian dollars, a return trip was like $100.
right.
It's crazy." But one of the things an English travel agent told me a couple of years before this, he said, "Yeah," he goes, "the pyramids, it's great, but if you get see all these pictures of the pyramids like this, and if you look to the left, it's malls, like it's malls built out, and
I've
and
heard
there'd be
that.
like a McDonald's or whatever,
That's
right?
right.
So this thing of stuff. So, anyways, saying all that to go back to how to like deal with stress and that is, I think traveling and seeing places. When we came to your part of the
Right.
world,
Yeah.
Ontario, when I drove across the country, I'm going to do that with an RV, by the way.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I don't know how expensive I figured it out, right? But when I found that I was sick, and Teresa and Ethan and I came down, Teresa seeing even Teresa seeing Niagara Falls for the first time,
Yeah, I know.
right?
It's wild.
Seeing in the Niagara Peninsula, seeing the forts, like the old forts, and we have forts here, but it's different, right? So there's something about that. And actually, we drove to Wendy's. We drove, I think, the longest street in North America is Yonge Street, I think,
Oh,
Yonge
okay.
Street. So we drove from downtown Toronto all the way to the top, then to Wendy's.
Right.
So, and that there's nothing in the street, stores on each side, right? But yeah,
Right.
it's just, I don't know, there's just certain things that I think as I get older that um I don't want to work 9 to 5 and do my other stuff and do my weekend stuff, family stuff, and then I'm too old, right?
Well, this
So
is
for
it.
me,
That's right.
so that's how I stress, right? And I'm fortunate because my work that I do, I control my time, right? So if I need a break, if I need chill out. But I need to go make something. I made chili tonight, homemade chili, by the way. You talking to the dog?
He, he's barking at Robert. Can you hear him?
No, I can't hear Robert. What's Robert saying?
Robert's, I can't tell you, it's X-rated. No, he
Yeah.
doesn't say anything. Robert will throw stuff at, like, not at him, he'll throw like a almost empty roll of paper towel. And then Kevin will chew that up and then Robert's gone. It's a
I thought
love,
Kevin,
huh?
did you call him Kevin because that was a minion name?
No, Alec picked it because he says he doesn't know any human called Kevin. I'm like, Kevin's my dentist, Kevin's my accountant, Kevin, and he's like, they're not my friends. Okay, but
That's
back to what
hilarious.
you were saying is
Yeah.
take some effort, right? And this is where, we have to really just distract ourselves somehow, whether it's music, mindless TV. So I feel like this whole hacking of my Facebook page is such a blessing because I didn't have to read 3,000 people's opinions over the last week and I've been able to just sort of turn it off, right?
Yeah.
Which is good. So I've been, and then I've got my own stuff going on that I'm distracting from. So music, meditation, not meditation as much though, but music, watching TV shows that don't, I'm not emotionally attached to. Watch some really interesting things lately. So that's another one. Baking, cooking, distracting myself that way. And then
Good.
we're working on, because I'm still working on publishing some different things. I'm working on a word search right now, building my own word search. And it is definitely an activity that is time consuming and distracting. So I just put on my music and I get in my groove and I'm just creating this really cool activity book and I can self-publish for free. And if it never sells, you know what? I'm sure it will. But if it never does, it's buying some time. It's a nice distraction for me. But in the stuff I've been watching, so I watch TED Talks, documentaries, some really neat stuff. And the one I was watching was on this lady talking about, it was a TED Talk. Can you still not hear him? He is like,
I hear like whoop, whoop. It
yeah,
sounds like a big drop of water from.
yeah. I'm
So
gonna,
Kevin whoops. Good job, Kevin.
yeah. Whoop, there it is. Okay, so I was watching this lady on TV and or on TED Talk or whatever, and she was talking about mindfulness, and she was talking about getting in the moment. And the example she was using, which ties in very nicely, is she was saying, if you just stare, he's coming in. Hold on a second. Robert says I socked him. He's got a sock and a sock. We're gonna have no socks.
Put a
Anyway,
sock
yeah,
over his mouth,
that,
muzzle.
I got a lot of inappropriate jokes. Okay, so you stare at you stare at your finger, which when you stare at your finger, it's hard to keep it still. If you're just like, I'm just gonna stare at my finger. But notice three things on your finger. Let's do it. Okay, so I look at my finger and I think, wow, I really need to file my nail. And then I look at all the lines on there. And I look at like my knuckle, my ones on my knuckle, and they actually look like a knot on a tree. They do. They look like a knot on a tree. And then I can look at the lines because these are all my life experience and my character. And then
Right.
I can look at, yeah, and I can look at, oh, that's a lovely pointer finger. It is. But then see, because I'm focusing on it, I'm in the true state of mindfulness and I'm not distracted by other things. Are you looking at your finger or looking at something else?
I'm looking at my finger. So
How's
when I
it
look at
look?
my finger,
Yeah.
I see Mario.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, he
That's
fell.
amazing. So you cheated. You're a
Yeah.
cheater.
Yeah. Well, and
Shame,
part of, yeah.
shame,
So
shame.
yeah, and I love that. That's yeah, those
Simple.
types of things, distracting. Like it's not. I don't like the word distracting. It's probably not the right word, right?
No, it is
I,
the
I
right
put a
word.
few. Well, it's probably more than distracting, right?
Oh,
There's probably more like a distraction is just a distraction. Oh, like Kevin's a distraction right now. Anyways, but there's something focused about it, right? I put a couple of quotes up as we were talking, as Kevin was talking. And one of the ones I put up, the greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another.
yeah.
So when you're stressful, then
Turn it
this thing
around.
about going, I tell my daughter this all the time, if she's on here or not, whatever, she knows it. Okay, take a breath because she's all stressed about her car, right? So it's okay. Let's take a breath.
Can I send her a meditation?
You can send her wherever you want. I
Okay.
don't, she'll, she's your
Did you
niece.
already tell her that they can't be done, or is she going to be receptive?
I tell her, I tell her about meditating every day. And I try to get her to do a 2-minute meditation, just telling you, and that's not happened yet. A good way to overcome stress is to help others out of theirs, which you just offered to do to my daughter,
I did.
right?
That's right.
Remember, most of your stress comes from the way you respond, not the way life is. Adjust your attitude, and all that extra stress is gone.
That's right. Exactly. Attitude
It's just
matters,
the way I
right?
roll. Yeah, it's the way I roll.
Well, I think the other thing too is just asking yourself a simple question. Is this something I can control? Yes or no, right?
You can
Is it
always
something?
you can always control your stress.
No, I'm saying whatever you're stressed over.
Talking to me or Kevin? Sorry.
The door is shut. Kevin is not
Kevin,
in
come
here.
back.
But you know what
Um,
I mean? Like, okay, so like a car, for an example. So you've got car trouble. Can you fix it in this moment? No. Right? So why are like the outcome, quite often the outcome is going to be the same, whether you
yeah,
stress about it or you don't. So if you can't put an action and plan, like a plan in action, let's say, for example, at the end of my meeting tonight, I had a member who she needs to talk to the head office. So we went in and I showed her where to 24 chat. She went in, AI answered a bunch of stuff, and then ended up saying, that you can't get to a human until between 9 and 5. So we shut her down and we let it go, even though, whatever's the stress, there's nothing
yeah,
she can do until 9 in the morning. So are you going to ruin the whole next 12 hours? That does now, again, it's easier said than done. But once you flip that switch to be like, you know what? I can't talk to anybody till tomorrow, or I can't. I was waiting for a phone call from the doctor for 2 days. And
yeah.
I called and left a message. I love his receptionist. And she says very clearly, leave one message. Her saying that, by the time I got to the part I left the message, because I was pretty amped up when I was calling originally.
It beeped.
And then I was like, I started out laughing. I'm like, her name's Nikki. I'm like, Nikki, you're so funny. This will be my only message. Blah, 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 whatever. And then I knew I couldn't control it. And even the next day, I was like, if I call her back. Is it going to serve any purpose? No, because she told me the steps she had taken, and then I got a call early afternoon, and all was
Yeah,
good and everything. You know what's funny? The outcome I was looking for was exactly there for me. It was perfect. And then I had to talk to some, everything lined up exactly as it should have been. So I could have had, two really sleep. I had some not great sleep, but I could have had two terrible nights and just totally ruined a couple days. But I kept rerouting back to this book, back to things I could control, some document, whatever. And I just reined it in. And a fun fact? I didn't even hear the phone ring. I was doing something else and I came back and was like, what the hell, Nikki? But then
Yeah.
it was good, right? So your time is so precious. Every waking hour of your life is precious, and it's up to you where you want to give your energy. It's like
Yeah.
all this stuff in the last couple weeks. We couldn't personally change it, but you know what? We've established a lot of power. Like I love everybody looking for Canadian products first. Should have been doing it a long time ago. I think it's fabulous. But see, I've embraced that. Don't make it a negative, make it a positive. We're
I'm
supporting our
positive.
people.
No,
No, see, your response
no,
is
but let me
priceless,
so
right?
before that, so we're gonna
Yeah,
come back to that, but I'm teasing you. I buy as much Canadian as I can, by the way,
good. Yeah, me
but
too.
and local. But here's the thing, right? So here's a thought, right? Because and I knew this from before, but I had to look it up the other day when we decided to talk about this, right? So I was looking at because I have things that will my mind can't let go of, especially in the middle of the night,
Oh,
right? And
what
and
is
I
it?
get horrible sleep anyways. Like a good day is 5 6 hours. Average sometimes is 3 or 4. Not healthy. Pretty su- surprised I'm not
There's,
insane.
there's no normal number though, right? 8 hours a night per adult is like an old wives' tale. Do you know that?
No, well, it depends, right? Depends on each individual, different, right?
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
because of what because the way so the reason I'm saying it, because the way your brain
Yeah.
like with all of us, like we need to it's like having a lamp on and you just leave it on and on and on, don't turn it off, it whatever, I can replace the battery, right?
Yeah, I
So
know,
there's
but everybody's different. Some
yeah
people
so
5 hours works.
yeah so five
Yeah.
hours is probably good, not bad for me, 5 to 6, but on my Fitbit I'll get like 3, and I'll tell Teresa needs like 10, right? But here's the thing, so I was reading this study before, I had to find it, I had to go back and find it, and so they were talking about different ways of de-stressing. It was one of the courses I took. And so what this I don't know if he was I think he was a psychologist, something, I don't know. But I think he was I don't know. I think it has something to do with like physical, something to physical, right? But he said what happens is, and he wasn't putting this on everybody, but he says if you he goes, he was talking about his own experience, but he's some type of doctor, right? But he says, if I have these things like I'm frustrated, stressed, whatever word, and then like watch a movie, do this. And I says, not he's not saying any of those are bad, right? But he goes sometimes because stress is a is a thought that we're whole. It's like a negative thought thing, right? So the study says, and he goes, it's not inconclusive, but it was a study of group he did. He said when people would go for a walk, if people would go do like a physical thing, and so he's actually went to the science of, he says and it could be breathing or mental, it could be like, but he says when we're physically bringing oxygen in and doing these things, because of the way stress attacks our neurons. My son would probably have some
It
fancy thing to
releases
say.
dopamine.
Yeah, so there's a thing about like somebody going swimming, sitting actually in a hot tub, temperature change, right? So it's just an interesting thing. So I was just thinking about it because I tell my daughter that, like, go sit in the hot tub, right? So and sometimes you're sitting in a hot tub and you sit there and kind of you get brain fog. You kind of just you like the warmth of the water, right?
Mhm.
Right? Putting your feet on
Do they
cold
like
earth.
walk together or anything? Do they get outside?
Emily,
Yeah,
it's minus 35 there right now. I'll
I
send you
know.
pictures.
I know.
We're whining here. What's the temperature
I'm
there?
not whining. There's no
What's
bad weather, just bad attire. Negative
okay?
4, just so
So
you know.
in the morning, the last few days were like -7, which is feels like about -10 out here at Windshield, and people are like big babies. I'm still wearing shorts outside.
I just asked a simple question.
No, no, this is me coming. This is like you leaving a message for Karen or whatever, Nikki, whatever her name was. You said you left your doctors a message and the phone beeped before you finished your message, right?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, I made that up myself. Sorry.
Yeah. I was just asking if they went for walks because it would help increase the dopamine and conversation.
Sometimes they're fairly lazy. So you know what I do instead of walking? I said, turn your big TV up, put on YouTube, put on some music, dance,
Yeah.
do a
Or
5 minute
just
dance.
walk on every commercial or in between
Yeah.
episodes or something.
Yeah. The challenge is, yeah. So those types of things are like, so using any of us, right?
Of course.
Sometimes even at home, I was telling somebody who has some limited abilities, but even lifting like, and they can't lift weights, it's too heavy. I hurt my arm. I think I got tendonitis, but I said, even just doing like just getting blood moving, just like, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, or 2 cans of soup. I just talked about this in my group. When you're standing in front of your cupboard, just even 2 small cans of chicken noodle soup.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Or like when I'm brushing my teeth, I do leg lifts, right? Just some and then
Too much information right now. So
not really. But there's so many
hashtag.
things you can do, like if you have 2 bathrooms in the house, which one are you choosing to use? Right? Like it's amazing if you it's funny because I said that to my group today. I bet if I went to all your houses, I could pick out a little lap you could do. Doesn't mean it's going to be joyful, but we all have some sort of path. I have a lot of members that they walk in their house. And
Yeah.
so just finding a route and
You've seen
you
my
know,
place though, right?
I have, yep,
Yeah.
yep. But
I can walk the
you can
whole
go
house.
in and out and in, like if you're inspired to, we can do anything. But if you want to be a human excuse factory, we're really good at that too, of making excuses why, and this is all of us.
So
I'm
whatever
good at that.
whatever exercise. So the thing is, if you're
Activity
feeling stressed, activity,
is not the same as exercise.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. Back to So I'm gonna give my pet peeve before we go,
Why?
because it's important to let it out. When I let it out, I feel like you help me with my stress and anxiety. Anyways,
Okay.
so back to the buy Canada stuff and all that, right? So this is the good evil Tom. This is like the devil Tom and the halo Tom, right? So I'm intrigued by how influential misinformation is. And in saying that, I'm not saying I have all the answers, so please hear that, right?
No, I already know you don't.
So I work in the food industry. We are just processing and passing on and sending out letters across the country to our customers talking about cost of coffee going up. It's been all over the news everywhere, right? And so, but we live in a thing where, and the States we know is volatile, and Canada is going to be the 51st state, and blah, all this crazy talk, right? So whatever, right? But the thing back to buying food in Canada, right? Which Canadian made, right? Which I think is really important, right? I've been in groups. I've had to take a break from them because they're saying don't shop at Walmart. Walmart's American.
I wasn't getting into all that.
No, I know, but then people will go, well, my family works at Walmart. That's how we pay the bills, right?
Absolutely.
So the thing I was going to say is this is, and I've seen some really, if you want, you probably have some. If on this page, if you want to know information on Canadian companies, Michelle and I probably can get it to you guys. So there's lots of,
There's groups. There's some
yeah.
great groups have all that. I can invite you to one.
But no, I know. You know what? No, don't, please
Yeah,
don't.
but yeah, no, and
Because if you get in a group, this time about stress, the reason I'm talking about stress, right? You get in a group and it has a good foundation, then all of a sudden you're being pulled into an abyss.
if you respond.
But in that, and so the nice thing about it, as long as people communicate nicely, but so back to foods, right? So I've been in the food industry my whole life, right? So you can have, like I said, stuff people want. You can have, there's a product, I can't think what it was now. Shoot, I'm just looking at it. There's a product that the wheat from Canada, it's Canadian wheat, is sent down to the States and then it's processed and back.
Yeah.
There's products that we get stuff like coffee. We don't grow coffee in Canada. Maybe somebody got a little treat, right?
Sure.
So there's things that become byproducts. It's just a confusing
Yeah.
world, right? So, anyways, in saying that, I think forgetting political stuff, I think buying Canadian stuff is good. I think
Sure. As much as you
supporting
can. Absolutely.
local, like all of our paper and plastics, there's really nothing being made in North. It's all being made in Asia, right? But part of it is, I think it's a mindset, right? So, anyways, this person I was talking to about that, and they're a friend of mine who's a chef, by the way, and he's freaking out and stressing out. And I said, so what's the end goal? Like, what's the purpose of this? Well, tariffs. It was tariffs. Everything's tariffs, right? And I'm going like, okay, is that worth it? Like, at the end of the day, the big boys in the playground bickering with their toys on every political side, doesn't matter, okay, right? Like, what's important to you, right? And I said, because you're getting all worked out about some. So here's the thing: I said, has prices gone up and all that? Gas went up the other day for us, 15 cents a liter one day. We've got gas in Canada. We know that. We can't focus on being the manipulation and reasoning and why, heads of companies, Canadian and CEOs make gazillions of dollars, right? But with this thing, it says, is it a value for you to buy Canadian? He's a chef, right? The funny thing is, Michelle, it wasn't a value until news came on.
Yeah.
But you know what was very interesting, bringing full circle? Then I said, so if it's a value of yours, because if you're doing this to punish another country, they don't care if you buy from Walmart or Sears. They don't care. You're not hurting. I'm just being honest. You're not hurting them. You think you are? You're not. Don't go there don't go to, whatever, right?
That was never my intention.
But you know what I mean, though. But yeah, so people like you and me, we do it to support Canada.
Always supported. This is where, like, I get what you're saying, but it has nothing to do with, like, I've always tried to buy this, but even with my material to tie dye, aprons is the only thing I can find. I tie dye these lovely aprons that are made in Canada. It's a tough go, but I think that was my positive I was trying to pull out, is that, for everything that's happened in the last couple weeks, and I never got caught up in it because it's the art of the deal. It's what this guy does for a living. It's the name of his book. But I think it's great because, see, I don't know what it's like where you live. Where we live in this border city, we have a lot of people. They go do all their groceries, all their gas. I am thrilled to see that stopping, and that they're becoming proud of our country, that they're starting to just, I'm not saying only buy, but just look for the Canadian first. Like and then, as a person who worked in a plant that the bank repoed, I'd love to see some manufacturing come back. Like, I look at that long term, and I think maybe, just maybe, it's a wake up call for the powers that be that have outsourced everything, that there's no security in that. Let's bring it back. So that's my happy thought, that people are actually, they're just being more proud of Canada and actually supporting things and putting the effort into reading the labels.
And see in it. But here's what I say in it, because you picked the topic, not me, right? And it's interesting because the amount of stress. And so that one quote the first quote I put on there is within a thought, right? So we get amped up. I mean, the states are amped up, forgetting who you like or whatever you like. And I always tell people, so you know what? Proof is in the pudding. Proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Proof is in the pudding, right? And we're being a little bit political. I started, by the way, but for me, and we've said this here before. I've said this here before. Is I understand being a part of a global community. We're part of the world. I understand it. We understand it, but we have to take care of ourselves as a country, and depending on the party, and parties are shifting, but it's usually a main personality, the leader. It depends where their sense of value is, right? And it's funny because I mentioned for, I think it was Ed Broadbent in Alberta. I lived in Alberta for like 6 months, 1,000 years ago. But Ed Broadbent, I think it was in the 60s, so I wasn't there then. But he was the premier of Alberta, and he treated his assets as oil. He sold oil profitable so he can take care of the Albertan people, right? And one of the funny stories I remember is Ontario was complaining. They're going, oh, like you sell it cheaper to the States. And I remember reading this in a paper somewhere 1,000 years ago. And he goes, and they go, oh, you should sell it cheaper us because we're Canadian, we're Ontario, right? And he goes, that makes no sense. He goes, you buy 5% and they buy like 200%. Like I have to give them a better deal. They're buying.
Oh, right.
So, but this whole idea of investing into manufacturing, because in all across Canada, in BC for sure, and I don't know why, Michelle, but we have lumber. We'll say lumber all over. Say we have lumber and minerals, rare minerals. We ship raw materials all over the world.
Yeah.
They manufacture. They have jobs, manufacturers, and then we buy them back from them.
Yeah.
And so as a country, so understanding leaving personalities, but understanding that it's important globally to be healthy globally. Right. Take care of yourself, and then as you take care of yourself, it has a positive effect on everybody else, right?
Exactly.
So buying local, like you said, know your local products, right? Years and years ago, I bought French's ketchup because it's made in Ontario, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting thing, but don't do it out of stress. Like I'm not saying to you, I'm speaking whoever's listening.
No, right, exactly.
Don't do it out of stress. If it's a value of yours, like me and Michelle talk a lot about, like, I think the second quote I put there is help somebody deal with their own stress, which I got to do, like, I think it was yesterday with this guy, right? This chef. It's okay. Take a breath. Exactly. And it's like, here's the thing. You can, in my opinion, you can't stop stress from you can't stop from being, I'm going to use the word trigger, use that word, right? You can't stop from the guy in front of you cutting you off, you slamming on your brakes and you're cussing him out. But then a second later, you taught me this. I knew this already, but you taught me this too. A second later, you're like, okay, I need to chill out. I don't know why they did that. I'm making an assumption. Right. My attitude is not hurting them. It's not helping me, right? So there's this thing about, we're going to have things happen that are going to boil our blood. Kevin, for an example.
Yeah, exactly. But see, I'm over it.
But what we do, and humor, another thing too. Here's the last freebie from Tom. No charge. Just no. It's free. Everything's free today. Everything's free. Okay. I think another great distraction. And I know people that don't watch funny movies, Michelle. They drive me nuts. I didn't even throw it up there.
That's like not liking pizza. What?
I was going to say something, but then you know who this person is.
Alice hates pizza. It's fine.
No, I love pizza. But here's the thing. There's something about humor when you're stressed and frustrated. Like, so I have about 83 PVR things of Whose Line Is It Anyways?
Oh, I love that.
Michelle, I've seen each one. I've seen every episode for as long as they've made them. I probably watched them 10 or 12 times. I know the next step, right? So, but it's such laughter. These things are such a great, and again, you talk about not exercise activity, something about laughing and the blood.
We should get like calories burned from, I'm sure we do. I just don't know.
Well, you do, right? So here's what I saw the other day, and I make these little notes. I've got like 1,000 post-it notes, all this stuff, right? So the other day, like, I'm not overtly stressed. Like my work that I do helps me. Like there's stressful things that happen, but I know how to navigate them, right?
Sure.
But so I saw the other day, it was a reel. I don't think I sent it to you, and I should have. And it was the Carol Burnett. It was the Carol Burnett show with Tim Connolly.
Yeah, Tim
Conway.
Yeah.
I forgot how funny.
So funny.
So
and real. Hey, because it's live, I think.
So
So
guys
funny.
like him, there's other shows too, but guys like him, like so watching these professional actors,
Yeah.
and he would the blooper reels from Tim
Conway.
Conway.
Conway, yeah.
And so I just saw this one. He was on Johnny Carson, and his feet were put through the floor, so it looked like he had short little legs and long arms, and he was
Okay.
going to do a weightlifting thing, and and oh, it was David Letterman, David Letterman. He can't. He's laughing like David Letterman can't stop because this man can make anybody laugh, right? And there's
Oh
there's
my God.
actors like that. We just
Yeah.
watched a movie with Will Ferrell,
Oh,
and
he's another one. Yep. Yep.
Teresa's not
Funny.
huge on Will Ferrell because he does some of the same characters. I'll send you what movie it is. We just saw it on Netflix.
Okay.
But he makes you laugh. He's
He,
got that look like he looks like he's
like
not.
in Step Brothers.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
that's a good movie.
That's
The drum set, right there. Leave there.
right. And then the Catalina mixer. You
Yeah,
know, after that movie came on, I had all my kids' friends, they were all adults. Uh, we had a Catalina effing mixer. It was the funniest thing. And that was the invite. And they loved it. And we all relived that movie. No drum set, but or singing. But it was the funniest thing. And I'm gonna tell you, at least two of those kids have died. And it is our memory,
yeah,
um, yeah, of
that's so good, right?
Catalina effing Mixer. So
Yeah, I do lots of good and bad comedy, as you know.
I
And
got some funny bad comedy I'm going to send you after this.
yeah, I'm gonna send you.
Diamond side.
So one of my favorite Will Ferrell, and it's the same as with Steve Carell when he's God,
Oh,
Bruce Almighty or God Almighty, whatever. It's so these type of guys, you just look at them. They don't have to do anything funny. You're gonna laugh, right? That's what's gonna happen, right?
is he the same one that does the movie where he does the taxidermy on the mice?
Yes. Oh my word. The Schmuck Club. Oh my word. He's the guy from The Office, right?
Yes, and there's a Facebook page. I got to look it up now because I'm in it on my other profile, and it's bad taxidermies, and it's like stuffed deers with teeth.
Jeez. But see,
You're gonna
only
join
that
it.
only that guy. So his big thing outside the office was The Hangover. And you get these guys that they take this personality type,
Mhm.
and they can own it forever, right? Like I love The Rock. The Rock's totally
Me
different,
too.
funny, but The Rock can run down, right? But all
Love
but
it.
all
Or
of a
the Tooth
sudden,
Fairy. Have you
yeah,
seen that?
totally hilarious, right? So
Love it.
I just saw another reel, Jack Black, and he's
Mm.
he's at Jim Fallon, and he's playing a plastic kid's little saxophone.
Or when he
And
does things like Extreme. Have you seen him
so
do that with the long hair?
so my last two things. I'll tell you about a movie that I just started looking for. You saw the Rocky Horror Picture Show, right?
No, I've never seen it.
Did I say this last week?
You did.
Okay, I'm getting old. I'm
You-
older this week than last week.
You're
And
getting nuts, but
anyways,
you're not that old.
so there's a movie, Will Ferrell, that I don't really care about this movie. Like I've seen it, but I probably was doing other stuff. And it's Talladega Nights.
I didn't care for that either.
My favorite part, though, and I bring it out certain times for certain types of people I know, you'll know what I'm talking about,
Okay.
is when he's at the table praying, he's a redneck. And he's got all of his sponsors, all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's got two like hillbilly kids, right?
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
goes, let's pray for our food, or his wife, whatever. He
Yeah.
goes,
Peggy Bundy.
yeah, okay, baby Jesus, 8 pounds, 11 ounces, baby Jesus. So he gives a specific, and then somebody says something, he goes, shut up. And then he goes, I want to thank you for my hot wife. And I want to thank you for Minute Maid because they're one of my sponsors. So and I'm not like offended.
No,
I'm not easily offended, right?
no, right.
So tagging from that. So these little mini shots of movies,
So
right?
funny.
So Ethan and I'm bringing him to school in the morning. My son, 18-year-old, going to university. For those that don't know, hi Krista.
Hi,
And
Krista.
and so we talked about the movie Life of Brian because he knows I'm a big Monty Python guy, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you've seen The Holy Grail, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Life of Brian,
The
you've seen
meaning
that?
of life. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So Life of Brian is, the guy who was born in the manger next to Jesus. So I know certain people would be an offense, right?
Right.
And me and him are laughing.
Oh,
So
so
he doesn't watch movies. He sees bits through like YouTube or whatever he watches.
sure.
So here's the freebie for me. Watching my son laugh is my favorite thing. And he's not overtly stressful kid. He's gonna be a scientist. He's got lots of he's got hard intellectual things to do, right? But it made me think of watching you with Kevin. And when you called him Kevin, I was thinking of the minion Kevin, which is one of my favorite
That's
dudes.
funny. I'm going to
Um,
mention that to Alec.
but I think, and even some stuff that you and me share on our page here that about, don't be stressed and dancing and like whatever, right?
Sure.
We need those little reminders that don't take life too seriously. You can only control what you can control, right?
Exactly. And surround yourself with the funny pictures, the funny videos. I don't know if I told you, I follow this lady. I'll share her on here. I don't think I did. And she's from Nunavut and she has fibromyalgia or something. So she has a lot of health issues, but she dances every day. And she just does little clips of dancing and she's funny and it's simple and it's motivating and it's always my kind of music for the most part. So that really inspires me. So even just seeing that every day, like it was Robert's birthday on Sunday. And so I sent him like her little dance for that day. And it was like the song was like Raise a Little Hell or something. So I'm like, hey, Robert, here's your, I don't know her, but here's your little dance from my friend in Nunavut. I don't even know if he watches it, but it made me happy. And I looked back like 2 days later because I wanted to see what dance she did on my birthday. It's a simple thing, but it makes you feel joy. And then it reminds me, hey, I might not be able to do much, but I'm still working on getting through the cha-cha slide. So I get back out there and I keep working at it. It's
Yeah,
progress, right?
100%. And I think too, again, we live in an amped up world, right? So
Totally.
figure out figure out how to dance it away,
Turn off
um,
your
do
device,
whatever. I
step
won't do
away.
this. I won't do this, but see, you're good triggering all these things we do. So me and Uncle Bob, we used to back in the day. I don't know where we learned this, by the way. Maybe Tim Conway, something, I don't know, whatever.
Maybe.
But
Pretty serious.
we did this thing. We both smoked back in the day, so we put a pack of smokes between our fingers like this, and so you'd
Yeah.
have the back finger, right? So I'd have my pack of Export A Plane, he'd have his pack of Demorier,
Yeah.
and we would play imaginary ping pong. So what we
Ooh.
would do is we throw the ball up and we pretend to hit it with the cigarette pack, but we would make the flick sound. So it made it sound like the ball. Click. And then Bob, click back. And people going, like they're trying to find the ball. Like they didn't know how we were making the sound. And then I'm not even joking. Years later, you tell somebody that because you don't think about that. You're doing it in the moment, right? But yeah, you have to laugh, have fun, find a funny movie. Melissa McCarthy is hilarious.
Oh, so funny.
Identity Theft.
Oh, absolutely very funny.
Sorry,
Very
guys, we're
funny.
on the happy funny movies now.
Oh my gosh. Um, Another one is Grown Ups, and those all those guys. And then they would go, you saw that, right? Grown Ups?
Is that where they had to do community service with the kids? And one guy was LARP. Is into LARPing.
No. What? They no, they're hockey.
Oh,
They're
that's Adam Sandler.
yeah, they're this is Adam Sandler as well.
Yeah, that's Adam. No, the other one wasn't. I'll send you it. It's can't remember what it's
Oh,
called.
so like they all get in the big maze joke and it goes on and on forever and you know it's unscripted. It's just so because it goes from
Yeah.
corn to maize or whatever. I just looked up, I want to share this with you real quick, if you don't mind. This is a really cool group. Hold on a second, I'm a little challenged that I've been following And it's a great one to change your mood. And I don't know, do you already follow this one? Backyard rinks, there's a bunch of different ones. And it's
No,
all, did you used to skate on a rink when you were a kid?
no,
Do you have one in your neighborhood?
no.
You're in Toronto. Did you go downtown and
I was busy doing other stuff. I didn't have time for skating.
well, I didn't either, but my dad made one a couple times that I didn't go on. But the whole, and it's not even about because I'm not a skater. We talked about that. My ankles bent like a little baby. But this is such a cool page. And it's just everybody showing their rinks, how they like these are pretty high end, right? How they've got it all set up and then they troubleshoot. It's just talk about a mindless thing. So fun. Oh, look, they did pictures of them. So fun. But look at these are just rural people enjoying. These are in horse training facilities where they're doing it. But it's just if you're looking for something different, look at this one, so cool. I looked at this the other day. Look, here I am. I liked it. And this one, it's got the big rink, and then you can skate all the way up to the house.
That's crazy. It's only in Ontario that they do this stuff.
This group is only in Ontario, but I imagine there's other groups for the rest of Canada. Because I mean, Alberta gets cold enough, right?
Yeah, I don't think we get cold enough. Actually, when I was a
I don't
kid,
think you
I
do.
played hockey as a kid.
Did you?
I played hockey when I started playing hockey when I was in the short-term foster care. So I played when we
Okay.
lived in Tweed. Tweed is by Trenton, I think,
Sweet.
right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And so I remember playing hockey there, and then I played a little bit in Scarborough. And so I played like whatever Pee Wee thing. Like I can't remember even how I played, but I know I played.
Yeah.
And I knew how to score. And what I would do, so
Okay.
this was like 7, 8, 9, 10. I couldn't skate backwards. And oh no, I was living downtown Toronto, King and Jameson. See, old memory. Do you remember little things that may are
Sure.
irrelevant?
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I wasn't a good hockey player. I like hockey. I think I became better one, but I remember us winning whatever division we were in, and we got to play a game at the old Maple Leaf Garden.
How cool is that?
So that was back in the day with Dave Keon, I guess, whatever. So this is the late 60s, early 70s, right? But anyways, yeah. So I remember going in like the locker room
So
and
awesome.
it was cool. And like, and again, I wasn't like a greatest player, right? But so
You're
talk
part
about
of the
ice.
team. Part of
So I
the team.
remember skating there, and then I don't remember skating in Scarborough, but I remember skating in Tweed. And
Oh,
Tweed was an outdoor rink that the guy made on the farm.
yeah, that's awesome. I think back before, like when I was a kid here in Sarnia, back before liabilities were such a big thing, right down by the bay where you and I went for lunch, but on the other side of the bay, um, it was called Dow. Dow People Play because we got all the plants, right? So
Right.
Dow is one of our plants, and I don't think anymore, but regardless, and they had a skating area with different like brickwork you could sit on, and then you could skate up and get a hot chocolate. And I got just to the age to participate, and they closed it down. But I remember that as a kid, it was a real hub. And you see, is it in Ottawa or in Montreal where they swim on the canal or both maybe.
Well, Ottawa, they do the Richelieu Canal, and they
Right.
do skating in the winter. And
Yeah.
then they also, that's the big one where they do those ice sculptures.
Oh, yeah, they do those here sometimes.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah. Out
cool.
here, because we don't, well, it's
Don't really
minus
get
six
it.
and people are crying. No, we do summer, we do sandcastle on the beach.
Oh, yeah, we do that too. One of the things they had here recently is they do mini bikes on the ice. They do. And of course, I'm not sporty, but some famous people were here. I have no
Yeah.
idea who they are, but they did wheelies. It was
Yeah.
exciting, apparently.
There you go.
Yeah, but that's a great distraction too. Like all of these things, go check out your community, see what they've got for, I don't know, some sort of outdoor activity, or I don't know about where you live, but here they are doing a lot of different things. Like at the mini breweries are really big. So
Yeah.
they do like there's one of the bars that I do a lot of advertising for, and they do like puzzle night, trivia
Yeah.
night, like just mixing it up. So it's not even
Yeah.
like I could go there and I could have some ginger ale or coffee or tea or whatever and not feel like I'm in a bar atmosphere. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm more in a social atmosphere.
Yeah.
So I think the world's really, as people are getting away from drinking as much, and I'm
Yeah.
not judging, just saying, as they are, as that's happening, they're looking at other things to do, right? And just mix it up. There was somewhere that's coming up soon where they're, and it might even be right over here around the corner. They have like a hot chocolate thing where they're going to put out the big bins with fire and all that sort of stuff, and
Yeah.
just sense of community in the winter. No bad
Yeah.
weather, just bad attire, right?
Yeah.
Dress right. Now,
Yeah. And
yeah,
I think the whole, see, I read it because I'm nerdy, right? Because the coffee industry and in England, the bar industry, but there was a book I read called Third Places. And it was really about, the responsibility and or stress at work and at home. That's like why they went to the bars in England. And the
that's
bars
right.
in England, when we were there, they're so different. Now people can drink,
Yeah,
get drunk. It's not like North America. It's just really weird. Like it,
right.
it is more social community,
That's
right?
right.
And so I have a customer here in Abbotsford called Boardwalk Games, and I don't
Ooh,
know. I think it's a individual one, but I've seen some of those before. So he basically he rents, like, you can pay like $5 to play all these wall of board games, so Catan, all these different games,
yep.
and he has a liquor license if you want, a little food menu and stuff. Really nice guy. And so now he's my new customer. But so him and I talk once in a while. I'll stop there because I like the guy, right? And he goes, so he does different nights, and he'll do
All
like
right.
D&D. He does like puzzle nights for like older people. And so like whatever it costs for the table or per seat, they can stay, like some places like that charge you by the hour. He doesn't. He says, like, if somebody say it's $5, you can stay for 10 hours if you want. It doesn't matter,
Oh,
right?
good.
And
Yeah.
you don't have to buy anything. But it's this whole idea of socially
Love it. Love
coming
it.
back together, right?
Do you have
Like you
meat
said,
raffles there?
what's that?
Do you have meat raffles?
No.
Okay.
What do you mean meat raffles?
Like where you go and you buy tickets, and then if you win meat from the grocery store.
Maybe some do.
So the reason why I ask is they're really big here. Most of the bar, and that's how they raise money for charities
Oh,
and
for
stuff,
the bar. I see what you're saying. Okay, I
right?
thought.
Or yeah, the like the moose law, like the lodges do them, the legions, and then so my buddy moved away for he's back now, but he moved away and where did he live? Chatham, Kitchener, up near Ottawa. He didn't find another city that had them. So that's why I was
No,
curious. Yeah, it's really they even have the one Corona Legion. They have like a turkey bingo, and your prizes are turkeys.
that's
Great.
that's interesting. Yeah, there's.
Yeah,
I don't remember now. I remember years ago. So because being in the food industry, I remember I would sell to some of these pubs, right?
yeah,
And what they would do is they would be kind of affiliated loosely, but the sports teams. So
yeah,
then you would
exactly.
have like, because I remember one of the ones was my customer, and so he said, like, they do fundraisers. They call them fundraisers, right? So they
Yep.
would do the fundraiser and say they would have, like, say, I don't know, I'm trying to think, maybe boxes of burgers. So they buy boxes of
Oh,
burgers for
same
me. I give them
idea.
a deal. So
Yep.
say it was $20 for a box, and they would charge 30, and $10, 20 would cover the cost, and $10 would go towards the baseball team or whatever team, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they would do stuff like that. But yeah, I think
That's
that
awesome.
community, yeah, I think every community's kind of got their unique little way.
Of
We're
course.
seeing more downtown here because it's turned into kind of a cool, place, whatever. Couple, 4 or 5 pubs and a couple other kind of places like that. But they're doing like quiz nights and
Awesome.
live
I love
music
it.
again, where even if it's a small place, they're having like, somebody come with guitar and maybe female vocal, like not bands, but doing like
Y-
folk or cover.
Yeah, you know what's coming back here as well, which I find very interesting, is we have about 6 restaurants that now have entertainers. There's
Yeah.
one that's the Chinese place has piano. Everybody else, it'll be a single or a duo, just acoustic.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make some plans around that. I
Yeah.
think that's so awesome. It
Yeah.
reminds me of a kid, being a kid, and that was a big thing in this area
Yeah.
once upon a time, to like go dining and dancing, right?
Yeah.
Back in the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah. See, I definitely wasn't a dancer, but yeah, I mean, I grew up playing in bands and bars. That's what I did, right? Even
Yeah.
at a young age. So that kind of thing. And it's funny, I look back now and it's just different. Like I kind of can remember the memories, like even when I was older playing in Penticton and that. And I played in some fairly decent bands. I mean, we knew how to do 4 chords really well, and we had a lead singer that could sing. That was
Yeah.
all you needed. A
There you
drummer,
go. You're off to the
drummer
races.
can keep time, right?
Yeah.
And but in it, like on my journey of live music, I'm not talking big superstars, right?
Right.
But I'll tell you where I landed with this, and we did a place in Chilliwack. I wish this would happen. Like I'd love to, if I won the big lottery, I'd love to try to make this happen in different communities. But we did a thing in Chilliwack called Acoustic Emporium. And basically, it was a nonprofit. But what we did, we had a coffee bar. We didn't have a liquor license, which is fine.
Yep.
We did like snacks like chips, and we didn't have a kitchen, so chips and chocolate bars. And we had independent artists traveling all across Canada. We did every week that would play there. The list I actually have, I just went through a box. I had like, I don't know, 60 CDs or whatever that
Wow.
me and Teresa would buy to support them, right?
Of
But they were
course.
all like indie folk, and some would have like a 3-piece band. And
Yep.
one band, I remember the Lion, the Bear, and the Fox, and they were like
What
kind
does
of
the fox say?
nee 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 nee. But we had some artists come from Toronto, and so what they could do here is they maybe would go play with a bigger bar in Vancouver, but
That's right.
we would be the Friday night stop off. So
I love it.
and
Filling up the calendar.
we wouldn't make any money. We would pay whatever we took at the door to the artist.
Perfect.
Then we would have a local younger artist to be the opening act, play 2 or 3 songs.
Exactly. Yep.
And so, but I would love to see that. But so throwing this out there, I've been around you two. I've been around. Well, I feel like I'm judging. I'm not mean to judge. I've heard cover bands my whole life, and I understand it. Like I get it, right? And some good ones, right? I've got some friends that that's what they do. Um, but there's something about hearing somebody share a song that they wrote, right?
Hmm.
So whatever style of music, right? So, anyways,
Sure.
that's all I got. 6:36. We went over 6 minutes.
Yeah, I thought you didn't want to talk very much today.
Well, I let you talk most of it, and then I brought up about the meat or whatever.
Right. Exactly. That's so
Okay,
funny. So see ya
next week.
next
See ya.
week.
Wouldn't want to be ya.
Yeah, no, I do. I might want to be no, we'll see you next week. I'll try to I'm still it's me why the delay is. I even tried earlier today. I'll try earlier next week to get on. But I do thank you for your patience and I do appreciate it. And I thank you for your patience with Tom. I know how he can be. So your act of kindness is spectacular. So don't overthink. Think about maybe, if you're finding you're getting anxious or stressed out, I'm not looking at you. If you find you're getting anxious or stressed out, maybe take a few minutes or longer and tweak your stuff. So, like some of the things Tom and I talked about today, Look up the YouTube pages or the Facebook pages. Put yourself in an atmosphere of success, and any of the Debbie Downers or anything too political, or even like Tom said, like I'm in that one Made in Canada page, and as soon as I feel there's drama going on, I will get out of there like nobody's business, because that's how I roll. And you have that power as well. So set up an atmosphere of success and you're going to be a-okay. Don't give your energy and don't rent space in your head over to anybody that doesn't deserve it. That's right. Don't do that. All right. So that's all I've got. Thanks for coming, Tom. You're awesome.
Thanks for getting me out of my prison cell. I appreciate it. I get good behavior time once
Yeah,
in a while.
when's your pass up? You got to be back by 9
7 o'clock tonight.
PC time.
Yeah.
Ooh, we got to go before.
There you
Woo-hoo, woo-hoo.
Okay.
All right.
See you,
We'll see
everybody.
everybody next week.
Talk to you next week.